Hey, what's going on, dudes? My name is Rex, and we are back with some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim. On the last episode, we entered the dungeon of Ingvild, I believe. Yeah, Ingvild. And had a blast in there. The boss was a creepy necromancer who was raising the dead bodies of women so that he could have fun with them. Take that as you will. Yeah, just a creepy little dude, but we ended up slaying him and slaying all of the other women ghosts and druggers as well. Was kind of a good time today. We're gonna be doing something entirely different. All thanks to our good supporter here, Philip Fialterb. You told us, just a friendly reminder, to get Eric the Slayer whenever possible. Thank you, buddy. We will not forget our good person, Eric the Slayer. So I let you guys vote a couple of episodes ago on who was going to be my next companion, and there was a lot of votes, and I had to veto a couple of them just because they just wouldn't work out. But the person that ended up winning in the end was Eric the Slayer, basically a farmer here in the beautiful town of Rorikstead, and right over here. And yeah, we basically had to go through this very small quest line to attempt to convince him to get out there and become an adventurer, and of course, to convince his father to let him adventure. So we're actually gonna get a companion who has never been an adventurer before.
Do yourself a favor and don't have children. They're good for nothing at all.
Yikes. But there you go. As you can see, before he was actually found with just very basic kind of farmer's clothes, but after you do his quest, if you wait a while, if you go out there and level up and then come back, he changes clothes. He becomes a fully fledged adventurer, but not just that, he also changes his name. So now he's known as Eric the Slayer.
Good to see you again. How would you like to hire a brave, if untested, mercenary?
So you've decided to become a mercenary.
Seemed like the best way to see the world and make some coin. Sure, I'm a little green, but what I lack in experience, I make up for in courage.
All right, I hear that. What about your name? Eric the Slayer. It sounds pretty fearsome.
Father says I should pick a name that describes what I really am, but nobody's going to hire Eric Greenthumb or Eric Hoe Pusher. No, I need a name that will put some fear in the hearts of my enemies. When I have some enemies, that is.
Eric Hoe Pusher. I don't know, man. I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Lead the way.
All right, so there you go. Now, first things first is I do want to take some time to kind of just gear him up a little bit because his armor and weapon doesn't really fit the aesthetic of the character, but also the stats of the character. See, he's supposed to be a Nord barbarian. He's supposed to be light armor, and he's supposed to have a two-handed weapon, but instead they give him a heavy armor and a sword and shield. So it's not going to work out. We're going to go ahead and take him
Lead on.
back to our house, because I've been going through this process of, whenever I collect legendary weapons, because we've been doing a lot of Daedric quests, so we end up just collecting a lot of different weapons and armors and stuff. So I've been basically collecting all of those items and then just dropping them over in my breeze home here in Windhelm. Windhelm, what am I talking about? Whiterun. We're going to be going to Windhelm soon. That's maybe why I was thinking Windhelm. Trying to keep up with my crazy brain. But, oh, we also have Lydia here. But we're not using her. Sorry. Alright, here we go. So, yeah, we've been collecting a lot of gems and a lot of different things just for the purposes of having a house later on and just dropping all of this in like a treasure room or something. But yeah, so what we want to do is probably just get Volendrung and get Shrouded Armor, Shrouded... I don't think we're going to be using the cowl. I think I do have some apparel that he can use. We're looking for light armor in here. So we have the shrouded armor, we have the shrouded boots, we have the shrouded gloves. I guess I should give him the cowl. Might as well just give him something. Let's do that. So let's do the shrouded cowl. There you go. Now let's see if he will take it.
Good day, friend. No problem. How can I help?
I'm going to need you to give me the sword, the shield, and that's it. Now I'm going to give you the Volendrung. Oh, I equipped it. GIF, then apparel. We're gonna give you. I might be able to give him some other items, but shredded armor, boots, cowl, and gloves. There you go. He equipped it. He doesn't quite look the part. I might just want to give him honestly like some normal attire. I don't know. I don't think this fits him very well. What do you guys think? Come on, it's all right. Let's do something different because I don't think this is gonna work. Let's go ahead and see if we can buy him. We'll have to make a day so that we can actually enter into a store. But I want to get him some light armor. Just normal, traditional, old-fashioned Nordic
I don't claim
light armor if we can get that.
Pretty much anything to suit your needs.
We can do... Do we want to spend some money? Let's spend some money, man. Give him some good stuff. I feel like he probably deserves it. Oh no, I just bought a literal worst version of this. Oh man, feels bad, man. She doesn't even have like anything cool. It's like a helmet. Ugh. Yikes, dude. Mega yikes. Maybe we should just let him have the shrouded stuff and then just collect things as we go. Might just be better.
Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Pretty much anything, huh? We'll see if you really do. We can get him the braces. And do you got some? No. Okay. Got some stuff.
Good doing business with you.
It just feels... No problem. How can I help?
We're gonna start some slow. We're gonna get into some lore real soon, guys. Don't you worry. Let me just first take his stuff. And apparel. Let's give him the studded armor. Is that what he's already wearing? I don't know if that's what he was wearing. Heavy armor before, right? I could swear what he was wearing before was a little bit different. I am known to be crazy, though. He doesn't want to wear it, though. Oh, I'm equipping it myself. What am I doing? I'm not giving it to him. Oh, I'm dumb. I'm like pressing A on my controller instead of just giving it to him. Jesus Christ. Not my day today. Just not my day, dude. And the bracers actually... Yeah, there you go. Alright. Sounds good. Oop, this one. I gave him some extra stuff. I'm self-conscious. He doesn't want to wear them, though. Why not? You don't like it? Then, alright, we'll let him have it.
You lead, I'll follow.
He's like wearing his old, like, heavy armor boots. Come on, Eric. What is wrong, buddy? Why don't you want to wear the boots? You like studded, you like leathered, you like scaled, you don't like hide? Is that what it is? Cost me 400 gold pieces, dude. Alright, well, let's take it then. Let's see if we can just try and give it to him again. Boop. Did it work? It didn't. Alright.
Let's get going then.
I don't think it matters that much, honestly. This is mostly just aesthetic. Of course, the companions can't really, like, fully die. But, you know, we're trying to do some cool stuff here. Just having some fun. See if we can give him something else. We can try the leather boots. Maybe we'll have some...
Until next time.
This new... No problem. How can I help?
Some better luck with this. It's just sometimes companions can be very finicky with what they'll take. Yep, there you go. See? It's just completely random. It's just weird, honestly. Sometimes it actually makes absolutely no sense. But there you go. We have fitted, and we have obtained our new adventurer, Eric the Slayer. Hopefully he'll prove rather helpful. Now, I'm just kind of doing a couple of random things before we get going. I do want it to level up because we haven't really done so in quite a while. I do want to up my magicka so that I can conjure new and better things. So just updating you guys on what the plan is. Currently, I do want to obtain some better conjuration spells. Specifically, there's the Storm Atronak, and then there's the Daedra, and I believe there's a Wraith that I can also get. However, the problem is that the I think the what is there's a bone there's a bone wraith, I believe, that I can only get from the dragon from the Dawnguard expansion rather, and then there's the there's another like elemental that I can only get from the Dragonborn expansion, so we're not getting those until we end up doing those expansions. And then there's the Storm Atronak, and then there's the Conjure Dremora Lord, and those I can only get from the College of Winterhold, and we haven't even unlocked Winterhold yet, so we're actually on our way there. It's not for that reason. We actually want to do. We have a Daedric quest very close there that I want to do, Asura. So I'm basically I want to get Winterhold and then head on over to Asura. But maybe I'll let you guys convince me to just head on over to the college real quick to get those spells. But my plan was to actually wait until we did the College of Winterhold questline before doing that. In any case, we want to wait, I guess, 2 levels to get this one. Atronax become 50% more powerful, which is really good, and this is the real goal. If we can get this and then summon 2 Dremora Lords, like we can basically just up the difficulty to the max, dude. This just makes it so much easier. It's actually insane. We don't really need expert conjuration because again, we don't really have a single expert conjuration spell yet, but just kind of getting ready now that we can. And what else should I put it on? One-handed is always good. We already have all of this selected. I don't think there's really anything in here. Critical charge. It's always good. That's this one. Standing power attacks do 25% more damage. I do that a lot, especially with the extraordinarily powerful dual wielding power attack. Now, that's just the best. Now, I'm going to just drop some things on my chest, and we can finally get a move on. Chris Brett says, good luck on your green card. I hope you get to stay. Thank you very much. I did talk a little bit about my private life on the last episode. Collecting I'm trying to get my green card situation going. I think I want to just get rid of this. Got a lot of stuff. Dude, drop this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these boots now. I have to re-equip my armor because I kind of messed up a little bit. Ebony. Let's do the Mask of Clavicus Vial. We can do sneaking better. Nah. I'll do this. And we can get rid of the shrouded stuff. And that's it. Okay. Am I missing a piece? Let's see. No, we're good. We're good. Just gotta get better enchanted gauntlets and boots. Just store this, store that. We can get rid of the Iron Shield. We can store this. Shield of Solitude. Great, amazing shield. We can get rid of this. And then we'll just sell this. We're ready. Okay, good, good. Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting. The whole notion of getting the green card has been pretty stressful. It's pretty crazy. So, the waiting time... The waiting time to actually get the card is 15 to 20 months. Could you believe that? So there's literally going to be like 14 to 17 months where I am literally just not going to have any form of like ID whilst still legally being a permanent resident here in the United States, which is crazy. It's pretty crazy. Even if you do everything perfectly, you know, even if I were to, you know, not end up divorcing, even if I were to apply as soon as it is literally, like, legally possible for me to apply, there would still be, like, 14 to 17 months where I would literally have no ID that I could use while still living here, legally. It's just so bizarre how it is and why it takes so long. I mean, they must be, like, really, really busy, to be honest, I guess. But it is a little bit stressful, to be honest, because like I can't travel, right? Like I have family in Panama. I want to visit them, but I can't because if I were to leave the U.S., I wouldn't be able to enter again because again, I have no ID, right? Like that's the problem. Right now I can. My green card is still valid, so I could leave. But as soon as it expires and I'm basically in this interregnum, I would not be able to leave because then I wouldn't be able to come back. So it's kind of stressful, and that's just the way the government wants it, or that's just the way the government's currently working, and there's really nothing that I can do. It's kind of interesting. I do want to talk a little bit about this place, Hallelu Farm. It's kind of a like initially when you look at it, there really isn't anything particularly interesting. It's literally just a farm. It's run by a dark elf, as you can probably tell by the name. Hallelu is the name of one of the old ancient great houses of Morrowind. But what's interesting about it is just how low the house has, not this house specifically, but the great house of Hallelu has fallen, which is one of the it's one of those topics that you end up hearing a little bit more when you do Dragonborn, because of course you're doing Raven Rock, and Raven Rock is very kind of like dark elf oriented. But what's interesting about the House of Hallelu is that and this is why I wanted to talk about it, is because they're so close to Winhelm, and Winhelm is of course the anti kind of imperial, you know, capital. Like they're literally fighting the Empire and they want to secede from the Empire, right? But what's funny is that Hallelu is the only great house of Morrowind that was pro-Empire. So when the Empire ended up sort of taking over Morrowind, essentially. Okay, so what are the great houses? You probably explain it. So the great houses are like the political parties of Morrowind. So you have these 5 to 6 great houses, and each house basically picks a representative, and then all those 5 to 6 representatives basically make up the Grand Council of Morrowind, and they make laws and rules alongside the King of Morrowind. So they are extraordinarily important, right? House Hallelu was like the only house that when the Empire came in and took over Morrowind, they were like, yeah, we like the Empire, we're pro-Empire. You know, they were super basically like giving with the Empire, and that gave them a lot of power. But then in the process of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, when all of the different Oblivion gates started opening, the Empire had to leave Morrowind because they needed to defend Cyrodiil. So the Empire literally just left Morrowind to just fend for itself. And of course they didn't do well. I mean, it is very well known that Morrowind basically just sort of fell, right? Because the Argonians ended up just being amazing, just incredible at defeating the Daedras. So when they were done with the Daedras, they ended up invading Morrowind, and they basically absorbed a lot of the south of Morrowind. So when all of this happened, the people from Morrowind, the Dark Elves, the Dunmer, they blamed House Hallelu because they were so chummy with the Empire, but then the Empire ended up just abandoning Morrowind. So a lot of that blame, because they couldn't blame the Empire, because the Empire was gone, they ended up blaming House Hallelu. And not just that, but House Hallelu, the capital of House Hallelu, because like every great house of Morrowind has like its own chunk of Morrowind that they govern. The part that House Hallelu governed was actually one of the many parts that were absorbed by the Argonians. So the entire city and entire basically region was just like destroyed. So you couple that with the hatred that people had for House Hallelu, ended up making it so that House Hallelu was just basically deleted. Like they were no longer considered a great house. They were just kind of taken out. So they didn't have a representative on the Grand Council, and their sort of nobleman status was completely revoked, and House Hallelu just kind of fell completely apart. It's actually the one of the sort of grand quest lines when you go and you play the DLC for Dragonborn. You remember there's that quest line that has you kind of dealing with like the leader of House Hallelu. I'm sorry, the leader of Raven Rock, who is like someone's trying to kill the guy. Well, that's literally all of that has to do with House Hallelu being very like kind of butthurt at the fact that they are no longer a big house anymore, and they have fallen tremendously. So it's just ironic to me. It's the reason I wanted to point it out. It's ironic that House Hallelu is all about Empire. It's all about like being friendly with the Empire. And they literally, like, this one dude has a farm, like, right up in there. Not just that, but it's actually, like, the one Dark Elf that, like, the Nords don't really mind having around, which is interesting. It's also kind of thought that the guy who owns that farm is also gay, but they don't really, like, they kind of suggest at it, because... I just want to talk about this because it's kind of fun. There is a captain in Winhelm. I believe he's just like a Nord, right? He's not a captain anymore. He used to be a captain before. He used to like just be I guess just like a merchant, just by ship basically. But he was a merchant for years and years and years, and yeah, his name is Captain Lonelygale, right? It's funny because the game kind of makes it seem that he's really, really handsome. because he has like kind of girls that are coming over to him, and specifically there's this one girl, Viola, you might know her. She always comes over to him and tells him like, hey, you know what, you should start dating. And the guy's like, nah man, I'll pass, my wife died recently, I just want to be left alone. And it's funny because the game just keeps on ramming it in too, like Viola just comes over, and there's like at least like 3 different conversation options that happen when Viola meets Captain Lonelygale, where Viola is just like really trying to get him to date her. And if you actually go and talk to Captain Lonelygale, literally what he says to you is like, hey, Viola didn't send you, did she? Like, he's like preoccupied about it, which is funny. So the game does show him as kind of being handsome in some ways, or at least, you know, a person that people would want to date in some ways. And then you have this very random conversation by the guy here, that where he's like, he's basically talking to his servant like, hey, have you seen that Captain Lonelygale? And then the servant is like, what? He's barely a captain, blah 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 blah. And the guy's like, I don't know, he just looks so ... and he's a captain ... And the other guy's like, he's barely a captain. And it's like, it's just funny to me that this guy has like a weird kind of interesting fascination with the captain, but they don't really explore it very far at all, and it's basically just kind of left there for some reason. They don't really explore it too much, but it just seems like he's very kind of like interested in the captain, which I think is just, it's just one of those things, man. I don't know. There's really nothing. It's really not that much. It has nothing important to do with the lore, with the grand scheme of things. But it's just one of those like funky, interesting things that happens. There's a lot of weird, kind of like conversations that happen in this game that just kind of exist, but you know, they're just in the backdrop. There's actually tons of conversations with some of those farmers that were supposed to happen but never happened because some of the other characters that were supposed to interact with those farmers were never scripted to talk to them. So like if I were to spawn some like characters in those farms, you would see conversations that were supposed to happen but never happened because they were not meant to be there. It's like weird. So many weird things, dude, in this game. Snow. Wait, who's the enemy here? Is it Fox the enemy? I don't know why the game is like telling me to kill the fox. It's kind of weird. Traitor's Pose. There's just a couple of things I want to do here. Let's just go Oak Flash. Let's do the Frost Atronac. Try and defend ourselves because this place is going to be a little bit tricky. Potions. Magica. Just enough so that I can do my sword. I'm just trying to level up Conjuration as much as possible because I do want to make my Atronax 50% stronger. I think that's going to make... Whoo! It's gonna make a hell of a difference. Ow. Oh, this guy's the Marauder, so... Ooh, okay. Let's just back away real quick. Just want to make sure that I deal with the other ones first. The weaker ones. Hopefully I can just let the Atronac and Eric the Slayer take care of the big guy. Alright. Is that all you've got? It's just nice to... Look at that power attack, though. Look at that power attack. I can't believe that I didn't skilled up the 25% damage increase on my power attack. That was just me just being dumb, to be honest. But I do want the sword. I want to sell it. I spent so much money buying potions that I feel like I want to just recoup some of that. But there you go. Nothing much in here. Basically just a post full of bandits. There's a couple of chests in here, however, that I do want to get. Where are the chests? What I also want to do when we're actually done with the Daedra quests and I opened up the vote to see what you guys want to do next, I do want to make it one of the options to hunt for the treasure chests, because there is actually one here. Where's the chest? I'm like, am I blind or... There it is. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's open this one. There's actually a treasure map is what I wanted to say in here. Treasure map number 7. Let's go ahead and see if we can open that one. Is it not found here? Oh, it's in books. Treasure map There it is. It's the only one we have collected. So I want to, I think it would be fun. Don't you guys think? Just like spend some couple of episodes, maybe after we're done with the Daedric quest, to just like actually find every single treasure map and then just go and get them. I mean, there's nothing grand about it. Like, I don't think we're gonna get like anything crazy, but it's just fun to explore the world and just talk about the world. It's always great. There is, however, a secret to this place. As you can see, there's no staircase that goes up, but there is an entire second floor. It's hard to see. You can see that there's like an entire second floor to this place, but there's no visible way to actually get up there. So what you do, and many people don't know this, you can actually just do a little bit of parkour over here. And you make your way to the top layer. Haha! You can kind of do a very similar thing, and we did back in Helgen, the initial city. It's not that one, it's this one. To find secrets over there, and we can do the same thing here. So what you can find is, there's the chest here, which is the biggest thing. It's a master level chest. There's also the plentiful healing, which is nice. Now this is gonna take me a little bit to open because master chests are master chests. So while we're trying to open it, I do want to answer another question that piqued my interest. We got Pere P. Now this question is a little bit tricky because it was a very long post, very, very, very long post. There it is. Oh my god, I actually did it in one try. That's crazy. I mean, one try after I found where it was. That's pretty insane. That's actually pretty insane. I'm still like gushing about it. Wow. Yeah, so his post was actually pretty long. So I'm not gonna like fully just, okay, let me just go out through the other place here. So I'm not gonna, you know, read the whole thing, but basically, I'm gonna just grab like a portion of it. As you might know, in Elder Scrolls Online, Amalek Ball is trying to take over Cyrodiil with the Daedras. In the main quest, the main character, and this is the DLC quest, the main character, the Drake of Blades, says that she is a member of the true Dragon Guard. She then says that, in quotes, we were driven underground by the Empress Regent Clevia, just as well. We're sworn to serve the true heir of the dragon, and she is certainly not that, end quotes. If we ask her about if she cares about, in quotes, who cares about who claims the city, end quotes, she will answer, quotes, the occupation could last for 20 days or 20 centuries. It doesn't matter. When Akatosh heir arrives, the old order, all of it, will be swept away, end quotes. So I struggled a little bit with the question, Para, because I don't know what the question is. Basically, you're asking me about what's the connection, right? So what I'm gonna do is I just want to talk about the whole idea of the Amulet of Kings. The Amulet of Kings, the covenant between Saint Alicia and Akatosh, and how important it really is, and more specifically, maybe even just how does that apply in Elder Scrolls Online, right? Because we know that the amulet is supposed to keep Nirn safe. The idea being that for as long as a Dragonborn sits on the Ruby Throne and in his neck lays the Amulet of Kings, then the Daedras shouldn't be able to invade Nirn, right? That's the general concept. And how has that worked out? Because, of course, we have the Elder Scrolls Oblivion sort of crisis, but we also have Elder Scrolls Online, where clearly Amalek Ball ended up invading the planet. So Saint Alicia, of course, was the slave queen. She was amazing, and this is gonna be something that you're gonna see basically with every single sort of Dragonborn emperor. And let me just stop right there and just say, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Dragonborn who like, you don't have to be able to shout, you don't have to be able to absorb dragon souls, like, you know, all of that stuff is not necessary for you to be basically sitting on the Ruby Throne and be able to keep the planet safe. The idea is that, generally speaking, the blood of Akatosh needs to be there on the Ruby Throne for the amulet to sort of work and for the protections to work, right? So even if you're not like a real straight up Dragonborn, as long as your father was a Dragonborn, as long as your grandfather was a Dragonborn, then theoretically speaking you should be fine, because you still have, woo, a little lag there, you still have the blood of Akatosh in your veins. And that's really the key word here, right? And that's probably what the Drake of Blades is talking about. So in the DLC, and I have not played the DLC, I'm basically just kind of going by what you're telling me. She says that the Empress Regent is not a true ruler. And the thing is, you really would know when there is a real ruler. Like when you have an interregnum, and the interregnum that happens within Elder Scrolls Online is not the first interregnum, but whenever you have an interregnum and the actual new ruler comes into play, like, oh, you will know. Because that has been the case for literally every other ruler that has, like, basically appeared out of nowhere. So when Saint Alicia appeared, it was incredible. I mean, she rallied all the slaves. She rallied the Nords, which was kind of crazy at the time. She even ended up rallying a lot of the elves to side with her against their own kind, which is like insane, right? She was so incredible that she even got the votes from the gods. So literally, Akatosh came out and said, "Hey, you're awesome. I'm gonna make a pact with you. I want your blood to be the host of my power." Right? They make a covenant. And the heirs of Saint Alicia after that, of course, basically helped protect the status of Nirn from the invasions of the Daedra. The problem happened when that didn't really last very long. It was just maybe like 4 or 5 generations later, and the heirs of Alicia couldn't bear any more children. Well, it's not that they couldn't, they just didn't, right? Like, eventually, like with every lineage, it just ends up dying, right? Heirs go missing, or maybe a person can't have children, you know, whatever the case might be, there were no more heirs to the bloodline of Saint Alicia. And that was posing a problem. You can actually find that in the book, and I think this is what you're looking for. If you're looking for a really cool connection, Perry, help Remanada. This book is basically incredible. Player period plays at me 0001 AD that Remanada. This book tells of what happened in the first interregnum. Essentially, when the lineage of Saint Alicia died off and there were no more heirs, basically it caused like a great darkness in the world, right? Like the protections were lost. There were like dark spirits that started coming out of nowhere. There were dark omens and portents of things to come. Things were just going pretty bad overall in the world. In fact, it was so bad that the Amulet of Kings was lost, right? Like it's happened many times before. No one knew where the amulet was, and nobody even cared anymore because everyone's spirits were basically crushed. Like the world was just kind of going dark, essentially. So when that happened, let me see if I can catch up a little bit of reading here, because I think it's going to be very interesting. And it was, I'm going to start on at the end of the first page here. And it was in this darkness that King Hrol set out from the lands beyond Lost Twill with a sortie of questing knights, numbered 18 less 1, all of them Western sons and daughters. For Hrol had seen in his visions the snakes to come, and sought to heal all the borders of his forebears, and to his host appeared at last a spirit who resembled none other than Elestia, that is Saint Alicia, queen of ancient times, who bore in her left hand the dragon fire of the Akatosh, and in her right hand the jewels of the covenant, and in her breast a wound that split void onto her mangled feet. And seeing Elestia and Chim El Abadal is the Amulet of Kings, Hrol and his knights wailed and set to their knees and prayed for all things to become as right. Unto them the spirit said, I am the healer of all men, and the mother of dragons. Yikes. But as you have run so many times from me, so shall I run until you learn my pain, and which renders you and all of his lands dead. So essentially she gave them a quest. It doesn't really explain, if you read a little further, it'll show you that it doesn't really explain what exactly the quest was, but she essentially like ran away, and the questing knights and King Hroll attempted to go and find her. So what ended up happening was that only King Hroll and his shield thane found the spirit of Saint Alicia. And this is where it gets really, really just like, oh my god, it just gets really creepy. King Hroll was looking for Saint Alicia because he wanted a new emperor. An emperor that was Dragonborn, and an emperor that could hold the Amulet of Kings and save the kingdom, right? And that's why all the questing knights were looking for this person. The spirit of Saint Alicia had sex with King Hroll. And it's interesting because this visual, just the act of watching King Hroll had sex with this spirit was so like odd or magical or whatever else. Just by watching this act happen, the shield thane literally died. Like he just fell off and just died. I don't know if it was a he or a she, but he or she just died, right? And King Hroll, after having sex with the spirit of King Alicia, he ended up dying as well. So when the other knights found King Hroll and the shield thane dead, they literally found him naked. And this is going to get pretty graphic, I apologize. But they found basically his ejaculate on a little mound of mud. So he had essentially had sex in reality with a small mound of mud. So of course the knights never saw the spirit after that, so they were like, oh my god, our king went crazy. He killed himself, he killed the shield thane, and he just had sex with a mound of mud. Oh no. So all the questing knights, they just went crazy. Some of them were just ashamed that their king would do this. Like, why would he do this? This is so weird. This is so crazy. We were doing a good thing and now this happened. This is insane. So they all basically left. The entire organization of the knights just kind of fell through, and they all just went and did their own things. What ended up happening afterwards was that the mound itself started growing. Within the process of 9 months, the mound started growing and growing and growing until it became a mountain. The mountain ended up being called Sancretor. So there you go. That's where the mountain Sancretor comes from when you go and play through that place, like a dungeon, basically like a holy dungeon in Oblivion. It's part of the main quest. But once the 9 months were done, a baby came and appeared basically on top of the mountain. And the baby had an Amulet of Kings, has the Amulet of Kings on his forehead or on his shoulder, you know, whatever. That baby ended up becoming Reman Cyrodiil, which was the first of his lineage in the new line of Dragonborn emperors. And of course, as soon as he became emperor, everything just went amazing. Like, this guy literally just took over the entire empire. He like organized and he basically like united all of the different clans, and he ended up basically fighting the Akaviri, and that's when the Akaviri were like, you are the Dragonborn, right? And he basically, all of that stuff basically happened. So like, he was just amazing, right? And that, again, I think this is the connection that you're looking for. There is this great power in the lineage of Saint Alicia, but specifically there is this great power between being a Dragonborn and being the emperor. For whatever reason, there's just something special in there. That's just part of the Thieves Guild. We're not gonna do that, of course. We just want to go to Winterhold. But being like, if the emperor was a Dragonborn, you would know. Is essentially, so when you have the Drake of Blades pair, it basically tells you like, nah, we're all waiting for the real, for the real emperor. That's really what it means. And it didn't really take that long before it ended up happening, because literally like only a few years, maybe like 2 years after the events of that DLC that you're talking about, literally only like 2 more years after that, Tiber Septim came into play. Tiber Septim came into literally took over the world, became the emperor, and of course we all know how amazing Tiber Septim was. He literally became a god, right? And he was a Dragonborn. So that's what she was waiting for. So like it's again, I'm not sure what the question really was, Per, but I hope that answers it somewhat. If you wanted like a connection between like maybe like a small understanding of what was happening, right? But yeah, the events of Elder Scrolls Online, basically, the only reason it happened was because there was no Dragonborn on the throne, right? The line of Reman Cyrodiil was dead. I explained that before, a couple episodes ago, but yeah, like the lineage was basically dead. There was no Dragonborn sitting on the throne, so Amalek Ball was basically free to do whatever he wanted to because Nirn was not protected, and that's essentially what happened. Manny Marco weakened the fabrics of reality, and he helped Amalek Ball basically just do what he ended up doing. It's a very similar process to what ended up happening in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. In Oblivion, the line of the Septims was dead essentially because there were no more heirs. There was no Septim sitting on the throne, no Dragonborn that was sitting on the throne. So Meryl's Dagon could just invade whenever he wanted to, and he basically did. So you better want to keep a Dragonborn on the throne, you know? It's important. Right now, I believe we also have a Septim right now as far as the Elder Scrolls kind of, world is concerned, so we're good. We're good. But yeah, we're gonna end the episode here because it's getting pretty late, and we're basically very close to reaching Winterhold. So that's pretty good. We can see the college all the way over in the distance. Oh dear God, we got a bear. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. It was a blast, just kind of chilling a little bit. You guys have dissuaded my fears about rambling. You were very vocal about just actually enjoying it when I just maybe not do as much progression and just talk about the world and about what's happening. So I appreciate that a lot because it's always fun to actually just spend some time talking about absolute trivial nonsense. But it seems like that's what you guys are into. Now, before I go, I do want to let you guys know, we are actually playing Winterhold. So what is Winterhold? Winterhold is a full total conversion mod for Elder Scrolls Skyrim. It is literally a group of people, I believe they're German. They made an entire game, literally. They just made an entire game using the engine of Elder Scrolls Skyrim and using the assets of Elder Scrolls Skyrim while adding, of course, other assets and a ton of mods, and they literally just made a game. It's like if you actually go on Steam and you search for Winterhold, it's right there. Like it's its own freaking game. It's really cool. I've played a little bit of it. I'm enjoying it a lot. So what I'm doing is I'm actually doing a full playthrough of the game. If you want to watch me play it, this is exclusive for patrons. This is my way because I didn't have anything really to show my my thanks basically for all of you guys who are supporting me on Patreon. I do have a thing for those that donate $25 a month. At the end of my edited videos, I say their names at the end of the videos. But I didn't really have anything for those of you that, donate $1 a month, $3 a month, whatever the case might be, right? So I wanted to give you guys something, and I want to start doing that, basically. Just doing content to show you guys that I really do appreciate those of you who support me. So this is for anyone who supports me on Patreon, literally just $1. It's fine for this, or anything higher, of course, will also count. But basically, as long as you're giving $1 a month on Patreon, you'll get access to this. You can go over to my Patreon and you can see the videos. Currently, as it stands, there are 4 videos uploaded, so you can just go and see them. They're basically from 20 to 40 minutes long of me just sort of playing the game. It's literally like, it feels like Skyrim, it plays like Skyrim, but it's like an entire new game, an entire new storyline. The voice acting is fantastic. The graphics are good. It just stutters a lot. Like, it's not very well optimized, but it looks really good. And it's shocking the amount of effort that these people put into this mod. So if you're interested in that, then head over to Patreon to see it. It's I'm really am having a blast. But other than that, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just being you and just being awesome. And I'll see you guys on the next video.